The Cray supercomputer company used to make the fastest computers in the world. For all I know, they still do. I'm not sure. But anyway, they had some of the brightest technical people in the whole world working for this company. And one day, Seymour Cray, the founder, a brilliant genius himself, came walking into the lab, and everybody was in a blue funk. They were sniping at each other. They had some technical problem they just simply could not find a way to overcome. Now, a bad manager would have come in and said, well, work harder, and cracked the whip. A good manager may have come in and said, work harder, I'll order pizza. A brilliant genius of a leader, which is what Seymour Cray was, came in and he said, I see everybody stuck, let's go tubing. And they went out and they bought some beer and they bought some chips and they hopped in inner tubes and they floated down the river. And once they got out, they went back to the lab and the problem got solved. That is the genius of celebration. I'm Joe Ty, CEO of Values Coach, and your coach. I've been your coach for the 60 modules of the 12 Core Action Values course, and we're now on module number 60, which is the celebration cornerstone of leadership. And that's one of the things that leaders do. They help us celebrate our successes, celebrate our failures, celebrate who we are. You know, there are a lot of workplaces, too many workplaces, that feel like you have to be dead serious in this place. You know, if you're dead serious long enough, you end up seriously dead. And it doesn't have to be that way. You can be productive and have fun and celebrate. You know, Southwest Airlines is twice as productive as the airline industry, and they probably have more parties than all the other airlines put together. And I think there's a correlation there, that they're more productive because they celebrate. They celebrate their work and they celebrate each other. So let's talk about some of the ways you can be a, shall we say, a celebratory leader. And the first is, find any excuse to celebrate. And it doesn't have to be a big deal. It can just be, you know, a little impromptu, off the cuff, couple of minutes to do something. At Hewlett-Packard Corporation, one of the greatest honors you can get if you're a technological person is called the Golden Banana Award. And it's literally a trophy with a gold banana. Here's how it came about. Some guy came into the boss's office with a drawing and he said, you know, boss, we've been working on this problem for a long time. I think I figured it out. And the boss looked at it and he said, you did, by golly, that worked. I don't have any gold stars, but here. And he reached into his lunch bag and he pulled out a banana and he said, have a banana. That spontaneous celebration of that success became a tradition. And that gets me to the second celebratory suggestion, and that is pay attention to traditions. Many years ago, I was the chief operating officer of a big community teaching hospital. I'm a recovering hospital administrator, you know. And I was meeting with a very unhappy group, and this one nurse kept saying, well, you know, since they cut the picnic out. Now, I'd been at this place for 4 years, and I didn't remember any picnic. And I said, what do you mean, picnic? When did that happen? Still, I don't know, 10 or 12 years ago. Now, think about that. For 12 years, this person had carried around that sense of loss that somebody, probably a penny-wise, pound-foolish move to cut out the employee picnic, to cut out that little celebration. You know, when I was working on the All Hands on Deck book, I read about Bill Hewlett and Dave Packard, and they had big picnics where they cooked the burgers and they brought people in, and it was a great experience for people. And related to that is rituals, just tiny little rituals, things that you do to celebrate. A friend of mine is an entrepreneur, has a company that sells big ticket items, a very sales-oriented company. Anytime a salesperson makes a big sale, they get to go down into the lobby and they have a big ship bell in the lobby, and the salesperson gets to ring the bell. She says, you wouldn't believe how people, they'll stay extra hours, they work harder because they want to get that sale and be able to close. What does that cost the company? Not a penny. But people will work harder to be able to be part of a ritual like that. Now, another thing that I would say is be very careful about congratulating people rather than bringing people down. You know, there was a study done, actually a University of Iowa study done a number of years ago. They sent students into a grocery store and had them pay attention, had them observe parents and track, and every time a parent said no versus every time they said yes to their kid. What do you think the ratio was? For every time a kid got told, yes, you can have that, they got told, no, put that away, 400 times. And that carries through into the workplace in many cases. Where too many bosses are quick to tell people when they screw up and not nearly fast enough to pat people on the back and say, great job, nice try, whatever. The next suggestion I have is think about how can I build celebration right into our core processes. Now, if you've gone through employee orientation, chances are the word celebration isn't the first thing that comes to your mind. But why shouldn't it be? I mean, shouldn't that be a celebration when you bring new people into your organization, into your family, so to speak? And finally, you need to not only celebrate your successes, that's easy to do, should be easy to do, you need to celebrate good faith failure. Things don't always work out. And if you want to have that proceed until apprehended attitude, if you want to encourage people to be empowered, to take risks, you have to honor the fact that they're not always going to work. Mayo Medical Ventures is the for-profit subsidiary of the Mayo Clinic. It's a venture capital company. By definition, what they do is they find high-risk companies, invest in them in hopes of a big return. And they know some of those investments are going to go bad. And they have an award they give to the person who has the most spectacular crash and burn investment of the year. It's called the Queasy Eagle. And it's literally a statue of a sick eagle. And it celebrates the fact that not every eagle flies. I actually called somebody. I learned about who had earned one of these. I called him up and he said, yeah, it's one of his proudest achievements. Right up there on his bookshelf, he said, he's got the Queasy Eagle. He also told me, you don't want to get too many of them. Now, let's celebrate the fact that we've gone through 60 modules of our course. And one of the best ways you can celebrate, get back to work. We've gone through 60 modules. We've started with authenticity. We've gone through courage, perseverance, faith, all the way up to leadership. Now would be a really good time for you, and I hope you've kept all of these emails, and the videos are all available on YouTube. I hope you've kept it all. You've got the workbook. Go back and start over again. We've been through the course once. Go back to authenticity. Go through it again. Live your values. I'm Joe Ty. It's been a pleasure being with you. I hope to see you soon.